Here's all you need to know going into this week of trading. Welcome to your weekly market preview. This is a pivotal week for the markets, not because of what's already happened, but because of what's about to. Now, the Fed is stepping in, inflation data is still top of mind, and earnings from key sectors could shape sentiment for the rest of September. Let's break it all down. So, the overall tone in the market is bullish, but guarded. Stocks are holding near record highs, with the S&P 500 and Nasdaq maintaining strong uptrends. The Dow just tagged another multi-month high, and small caps are finally showing strength. Now, market exposure levels are still sitting around 80 to 100%, which confirms confidence, but with that comes vulnerability. The real story this week is the Fed. The market expects a quarter-point rate cut at Wednesday's FOMC meeting. Now, the setup couldn't be clearer. Weak jobs data, tame inflation, and a slowing economy have opened the door for Powell to pivot. The surprise would be if they didn't cut, but the real drama will be in the updated dot plot and Powell's tone during the press conference. Will they hint at more cuts into year-end or tread carefully to keep optionality open? We'll get another look at the inflation too. Last week's core CPI held steady at 3.1%, while headline CPI ticked up slightly. That's not enough to scale the Fed of a cut, but it does suggest the inflation fight isn't actually over. If Powell leans too dovish, the bond market could react sharply, and equities may follow. The PPI and jobless claims data will give the final pieces before the Fed decision lands. Now, market leadership continues to shift. August saw small caps crush the mega caps, with the Russell 2000 up 7%. The Nasdaq, by comparison, barely cleared at 1.5%. That's a rare divergence, and it suggests a broadening rally. Energy, industrials, and even financials are starting to lead, a sign that rally is getting healthier beneath the surface. But we're also seeing signs of late cycle caution. Gold just ripped to all-time highs, up 37% year to date, with central banks continuing to load up. That's not noise, it's a signal. On the earnings front, keep an eye on FedEx, Lena, and Darden, because FedEx gives us a read on global demand and shipping volumes. And with trade and tariff pressures back in focus, the guidance will matter. Darden will tell us how strong the US consumer really is. And Lena's results could show whether home builders can weather high mortgages rates or cracks are forming in the housing trade. So your playbook this week, all eyes on the Fed. Stay tuned for any deviation from the expected rate cut path. Watch for rotation to continue, especially into small caps and value sectors. And be alert for reactions in gold, bonds, and rate-sensitive names based on how the market digests Powell's words. That's your market rundown for this week. Mr. M out.